I think the fate of the Duke of York is almost insignificant in comparison to the wider fate of the monarchy, particularly in Scotland. There's been a poll that's taken, interviewing only just over 2,200 adults by Savanta, and it has found that in Scotland 41% supported the monarchy. That is it. It's below 50%. And that should worry people. And part of that worry must be informed by, or part of the cause must be the appalling news day after day after day, like a badly dripping tap or an incontinent. Incontinent plumbing. The incontinent plumbing of the Duke of York. Dripping, dripping, dripping. And the Alba General Secretary, Chris McElhenney, has said that the poll result is no surprise to Scots. In keeping with Scottish constitutional tradition, the Alba Party adhere to the principle that it is the people that are sovereign, not the monarch. And this has, this comes with news that Epstein apparently took video recordings of the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, and Richard Branson and President Clinton engaged in rumpety-pumpety. And it's shocking, really. It's shocking that there should be somebody out there. Well, he's no longer out there. I mean, he's popping up daisies, but he's in the same business, really, isn't he, as the claims that were made about Dan Wootton. And it's shocking, really. It's shocking that these tapes should exist. It's shocking, if they exist. It's shocking that they should exist, and it's shocking that they were filmed. And then, on the other hand, it's not really that shocking, is it, really? It's all part of that steady drip, drip, drip of decay. And this is really where I come back to the issue that Prince Andrew just needs to clear off. And the honourable thing to do is to go. Get out of it. And there's a story saying that he's not going to leave his house in Windsor, that he's got every legal right to be there, and it doesn't matter that there's this extraordinary bill for repairs and that he has no serious income. He intends to meet these things. Well, yeah. I think it's all hollow. And the monarchy is suffering a calamitous loss of support. I think it's wrong. I think the monarchy does not depend, really, on popularity. The monarchy depends on tradition and the understanding that it's there. But I think the wider problems of the royal family do not help the monarchy's survival. And when there is chaos in our country, brought in, ushered in by Brexit, ushered in by the threat of another independence vote, ushered in by the sagging misery of seeing people in the House of Lords who should never be there moan. Does that mean moaning, or am I referring to Baroness Moan, the moon in the heavens that should be lodged, should be moved aside, that gives the meaning to the real concept of lunacy? Why? What did she do? What did she do to merit a place in the upper chamber? What did she do? And what does she bring to the debate except shame and embarrassment and hiding in the Isle of Man? And is King Charles going to be the last king? I hope not. Is King Charles going to be the last king in Scotland? I hope not. But the royal family needs to get its act together. And together is the most important word in that sentence. Prince Harry and Meghan need to get back into this country and repair the damage done to the immediate royal family, the King, Prince William, Prince Harry. That needs to be repaired. And Prince Andrew needs to get out of the way. I don't think the damage done by the Duke of York can be repaired, no matter how gracious and no matter how faithful and devoted is his ex-wife Fergie. And I think Fergie's role in this saga has been central, which is probably why she was back in Sandringham on Christmas Day. I think she is a remarkable woman, and I think her daughters are a remarkable testimony to the strength of her influence, to her parenting skills. I also think it's possible that Prince Andrew is a tremendously fine father. But it's the detritus, now on film, that he leaves behind like an unwitting snail. The slime of privilege and thoughtlessness. And there is no place for that in the modern world. None at all. And it's the same slime, incidentally, that Baroness Moan oozes. We need somebody. It's not possible to clean this mess up. These people just need to go and probably do some deep cleaning on their own. But it's not possible for them to re-enter society at the level that they are used to inhabiting. That habitation has gone, and they need to wise up and recognise. And there used to be a time. I'm not suggesting some sort of revolver and a glass of whiskey. But I am suggesting that they should recognise that their time is up and that they need to move aside. And I think Paula, the former post office chief executive, needs to do the same thing. These people need to recognise their last act of honour needs to be a recognition that their time has gone. And for the good of the country, for the good of the monarchy, for the good of our institutions and our leadership, these people need to move to one side. And given the fact that we have to endure a little bit more of the present government, I think it's time for Rishi Sunak to recognise that trying to realise and appease the instruments of Tufton Street, that job is over too. It's time for him to recognise that he now has to make his own mark. That's not going to be by stopping the boats. That's a cheap trick. It's not going to be by sending somebody to Rwanda. That's a holiday nobody wants. No. He should concentrate on the things that he is good at. Balancing the books, sorting out the figures, and looking at the detail that will make our life better. Now, I cannot imagine that he's going to pull a cat out of the bag, a rabbit out of the hat, but I can imagine that he can set the scene so that he leaves behind at least a serviceable economy and a serviceable country for the next Prime Minister. He should not be leaving behind as some of the newspapers today have reported, a scorched earth and an empty safe. All the money's gone. That's a joke which we've had. We don't need it again, and it would be beneath him. So that's today. I must go to bed. It's getting very late.